twasoma kubeera bubi
buli kimu kitambula
nti ndi bubi mbu covid ekuyisizza erya kati ate covid bwetuka okuyisa nze obubi abanaku banaabeera bati
kituufu
everything is a challenge.
nkulaba obulamu bulungi nnyo era nga akasaati koyambali n'akakofiira kalagirawo ddala nti ewuwo munnaye
era bwenyambala ate nankubuulire awagira Museveni talina kyalina
awagira Museveni talina kyalina
nawandiika obutabo mu different languages. This is a Kinyankole book mu campaign obulimba bwa Besigye naani ne Gundi nempandika obutabo bungi banziba millions zange ebikumi bitano has never been paid. I hear people getting billions. For us, we don't work for money. Kubanzi bana basajja nabategeera nabagamba tukita simiriza obugero. I'm a hunting dog from 7 never tukitegeera. A dog hunts for the master and the self.
naye efunako
walabye embwa ewerekera abagenda okusola ebinyeebwa
tebaliyo kalibe bijanja aletera kuba nyama
emanyi okubuga waliyogerabyeko mu nnyanja
teriyo.
But they don't understand. Kati ffe tulina destination ekyokubiri tukiyita mu political science tukiyita systems analysis. I look at a system y'abano ekola etya. System y'abano ffe batusomesa mu byobufuzi. When a leader or a political party humiliates, disregards those who deliver committed service to him or to the party, ends up using mercenaries. This is where the movement is.
Katandikirawo omukulu Tamale Mirundi. Olunaku olw'eggulo munnamawulire gwe tulidde ebbanga nga tumusomako tumuwuliriza tumulaba yasaze eddiiro nga oluvannyuma lw'okukwata kaadi ya NUP okumala ennaku 27 n'amala tubalabe bannamawulire bangi omuli Betty Nambooze omuli Andrew Muwenda naawe mwennyini Tamale Mirundi wali munnamawulire omala n'osala eddiiro kitegeeza ki
bannamawulire abali professional kyekibakola obubi tulonda ekifo kyomunnamawulire muleeta omusomi w'ebirango yasoma mu institute oyo gwombuulira mala obudde bwange kakati zekankubuulira
Tamale Mirundi abantu abavuddeyo nga bawakanya gavumenti eriko ne bamala ne basala eddiiro
ekyo kyoba oyogera
kitegeeza ki kuba naye wali omu ku bo abali bawakanya gavumenti ne mala osala eddiiro
eyo gurupu nze bano abasajja nali mbamanyi kuva mu nsiko singa nalinga musinga siva wasale nalaba sale mu 83 nampa n'assignment mbatwalira ebintu. Do you see me in Sally's place?
Not at all.
I have my destination. Nina byengoba. And when I look around, Katonda yampa ne mali myaka 14 mu kifo eky'amaanyi ennyo. I look at these people. Nimbategeera. Nze nalina simwogere mu 96. I was one of his advisors. In fact, omu ku balipoota yafa. Mutabani we yazze n'andaba ku weekend. Nimugamba mama wa jjajja walidda nti ali mu nnyendo. Nimugamba mulowooza okuziika kw'oyo omwana Luwemba attracted all the DP leaders, the opposition leaders. Semwogere yali ava genda embalala eyo n'asanga ekimotoka ky'amagye mu kkubo nga kiringa ekifudde ne kizunga mu kkubo. Ekyamuyamba yali mu motoka ngumu ya Benz. Banne oyo omwana n'afa. Nababuuza nti Semwogere mugendayo. Nali ne Semwogere. Semwogere twakwatagana mu ngalo ntwawukana. Why? Yaleeta aba UPC. Ne muga Semwogere tosobola kusonyiwa kusinga Katonda. The UPCs have come, they will take away your votes and they are coming with nothing. Nga bwe mulaba abakyuka. Nababulya ne mbagamba ono omwana namuwandiikako.
Bobi Wine.
Kaddi kano. I predicted Bobi Wine. Mu katabo kange kano. Kaddi kano.
Ka 23 wakawandika nga Sunday 23 July 2017.
Is it a revolution or victory? I analyze Bobi Wine. Longe ago. When I have time. Kakati kyegamba nze Semwogere ekyanzijayo on principle. Era nze gundi toka nalisi bamanyi. Abo bonna bamanyi bonna.
Bassajja Mivule.
Yes. Kubanga you see nze mbagamba. What does one want? What do you want to achieve in your life? Do you have a destination? nze mbaga nti I suffer setbacks. If I'm traveling to Kajansi and you offer me a lift, you drop me at Namasuba, you have made my journey shorter. I can walk to Kajansi. Naye I cannot become a permanent. Kubana nabasoma bano. Nkugambye principle esooka. Ti any leader or political party that humiliates, that disregards, that does not reward its committed cadres will end up using mercenaries. This is what is happening. It answers it. And you end up killing both. Oh no, in political science, you cannot move from one extreme end of politics to the other. That's why bidandi salio inake wekoledde, you cannot turn around and then contest with Museveni. You must explain that the Museveni I supported has changed. Mbabazi, on record, umukulembeze omulungi Tamale gajibwawo. Tomorrow you say what? You were super minister, I did not have powers. Do you believe that people are gullible? You can only move from one extreme politics to the other of a society when it is divine. Nti Saulo yafuuka Paulo. Katonda kugamba nti Saulo njiganyiza ki? Yafuuka Paulo. A quote of the Bible was written by this man.
True.
Why? What many people don't know. Paulo was a lecturer in University of Bapharisayo. At that time, Jesus was responding to the Bapharisayo who were knowledgeable. Umuntu omulala genda omusome mu Busiraamu bamuyita woman.
So
Katonda ye yamulagira. Anybody who moves from one extreme end of politics to the other, talina kyatwala. If a leader waits Museveni to sack you, talina kyotwala. Because kitegeeza singa teyagobye. In fact, we reject to society. Kakati mukimutanda nategeera nti abo babalamu bandi. First of all, I cannot associate with Balaam. Balaam is associated with buying.
Ali mukugula.
If today I crossed Bobby Wine, unless I'm received by Bobby Wine, tewali mulala ajja.
Kyogamba kano yekuye mupiira Bassajja Mivule.
Yes. But what was the destination? Waliwo omwana akaabanga mulwadde nemuwe ebbere n'aligaana. Niwabawo omwana akaabira okuyonga. Tutambula n'abantu nga tugenda okuziika. Ng'abamu basazi ba nsawo. Nabo baba bagenda kuziika. You see, we're seated in the same car. Ayagala ki? Kusaasira ayagala ki? Oyo ayagala ki? Ono ayagala ki omuyimbi? What do I want?
Byanfuna.
Nze njagala ki? I have a destination.
Kachoka Bassajja Mivule talina destination.
Nti okusanyawo Sodoma ne Gomora yabasaba abantu basatu ne babulamu. Don't think that Uganda would be governed by mafias all of the time. There will be a time for Ugandans to demand era ne mafia erwana njiraba. Kati ekyokubirimu kyemutamanyi nti bano abasajja ba mafia babala basinga. Kakati omuntu ngondi media institution bagenda jiwa sente okusinza ku balabi baayo.
Kituufu.
Kati bano ababbi balowooza nti by plucking this man tubalamuzi studio station babawe sente nti ayina value. Tewalabye One New Vision mbu akozeewo gundi ey'oluluwo. Why? Tewalabye Dombo mbu Dombo. We have money to pay for your airtime. If you have money to pay for my airtime, buy me an underwear also. Obujozi bwennyini obubunyira ddala. These MPs, the nominated MPs, should select which is suitable media. Ewulirwe waabwe. Kati Dombo alina kana aka New Vision. Baagala babbire wali. Bakusasulidde obudde. Let any fool, any idiot tamper with my programs. I've been sustaining my programs out of sacrifice. You have been switching off my programs. When it comes to elections, you land on me, I smash your head. That's me. Kati mwetemina principles temumalaako, nze mmalako lwaki. I have the cost of resistance. I rejected the job for 7 years. I'm still around. None of my children is out of school. All of my wives are driving cars. Kakati chichi. Nze nina cost of resistance. Museveni yalina cost of resistance. Museveni tells us, he had a cause. Do you believe Nyerere yali tasobola convincing Obote nti wa Museveni omulimu? Etakisobola. Museveni bw'osoma ekitabo ki The Earlier One, which I translated mu Luganda ne bakinzibako naye nze sente nazirya nsimba akasiko ka kalidaali and it was popular in Uganda. People understand in their local languages. Kakati Museveni agamba mu kitabo kye nti after attacking Kabamba twagenda ku faamu ya Sebuliba. Bannaffe abamu ne bagamba nti watuleese kutussa because many believed nti Museveni alina amagye amagye gagenda kuwamba government. The president tells us nti babaleka ne bakomawo, but he does not mention their names. Their cause was different. They were opportunists. Kakati gwe tolowooza nti omuwala agenda mu busisita aba yabula abalinzi ku kyalo. Ye commitment ye eri ku ki to serve God. So you cannot band all of us. Two, nti mafia yerowooza nti abantu basiru. Era I want to tell you, Museveni is not fighting Bobi Wine. Not at all. Museveni is fighting a rebellion inside his palace.
Kitegeeza kyekyo Tamale.
Hey, anti kakati kana katabo kange kasome mu introduction yokka. Nzinze amulake buno bonna bwange and others are I rely on knowledge. I did the mass communication, I'm a mass communicator. Ojako TVN, ojijako, mbwataje tukole nkuta. I work alone. If the president believes that he needs my services, I must have a special budget. Not under anybody. I'm above Dombo. I'm above Nabako. How can Dombo control me? I cannot attend where Dombo is sharing as far as the media is concerned. Yaliaba the coach, mu media. Dombo yaliaba the coach mu media. Do you call me when Dombo is sharing in the meeting? Me, Mutanu wa Mirundi, nswere mpunu. Kakati zenkubolira. Nti all of these issues you are discussing originate from here. Nawandika katavao. Introduction.
For quite a long time, there existed a common belief among the managers of Coca-Cola, a giant manufacturer of soft drinks, that their arch rival in the market was Pepsi Cola. It was until Coca-Cola appointed a new manager from East Africa region that this belief was disproved. The new manager sat down to draw a new marketing strategy for the company, only to find out that the centuries-old belief was untrue. This phenomenon is not so strange across the world. People fail to understand their real enemies, but spend most of their lives in illusion of perceived enemies. The findings in the new manager's report were both intriguing and amazing. The findings revealed that Pepsi Cola was not the biggest supplier of soft drinks in East Africa, and therefore, a majority of the population in East Africa who wanted to drink either Coca-Cola or Pepsi Cola could not do so because none of the products was available in most of the small towns across East Africa.
For a long time, the manager of Coca-Cola was Pepsi Cola their biggest competitor. Until the new manager came to East Africa, nakola research. N'akizula nga Coca-Cola gyetatuuka ne Pepsi tetuukayo. N'agamba ki, bring these big refrigerators mulabe ebweru. Tutuuke ne Pepsi Cola gyatatuuka. We are not competing with the Pepsi Cola because Pepsi Cola gyatatuuka naffe tetutuukayo. Bali banywa ki? Let us get these people. Kakati ne politics bwali.
So Bobi Wine is Museveni talwanyisa Bobi Wine.
Museveni talwanyisa Bobi Wine. Museveni yalinga Coca-Cola bwalowooza nga nti Pepsi. Nga si Pepsi. And this, why did I name it a curse? To set up curse. Nakawandikadde. When did I write this book? And bono bapuddamu ne producing. But earlier, nimputeerako. Nti Obote yalowooza nti kingdoms because Obote did not want to share power. A dictator cannot share power. That's why, as a political scientist, I'm amazed whenever I hear people accusing Museveni of being a dictator. When you have several layers of authority in Uganda, district is an entity. Ne batambula ebweru, ne basayininga memoranda, ne bakola ki, bagenda mu non-government organization ne bajjayo sente. A dictator cannot allow several centers of authority. Kakati Obote bwe yajja yayagala okuteekawo a single party arrangement. eggwanga alifuge ne political parties naziwera but Idi Amin who toppled him was always close to him. So the animal of Obote
yali munda mu ye
teyali kingdoms. Amin was not a former king of the abolitionist kingdoms.
teyalina
omulaba
abeera munda gwe
kakati nenkugamba nti look what gundi Obote again look what Amin believed almost his attention on Tanzania. Obote akomawo. I come near the border, Mutukula, near the border. Twayina enkambi ye Masaka suicide, nga tuyina ku buyambi mu Kalitunsi, nga tuyina Sanje, nga tuyina Sangobbe, nga tuyina Mutukula. 45. Obongo bwe bonna buli kwani. Until we invaded Tanzania. But the people who are killing Ugandans, who are putting them in caboots, the special side, we are not sent by Nyerere. He annexed Kagera, which toppled him. The Tanzanians, he incited the Tanzanians and they toppled him. Nenga abata abantu baliruda. Mariamu Nyerere yali amufuga. Mustafa Adisi Nyerere yali amufuga. Faruku Minawa Nyerere yali amufuga. Obote comes back, concentrated on Museveni. Everything was done on Museveni. We had the North Korean commandos training the NRM. We had the advanced British training team here. We have the Tanzanians here training Obote's army. And in 1984, Obote training Abajase Mitwaleji, Naga Wogole to flash to solve the Museveni menace once and for all. Who toppled him? Paulo Muanga, he's the vice president. And Okero, who was he? A commander. He was not Museveni. Museveni was far away by the time. Okay, Obote was toppled. Museveni was outside the country. All of the efforts the president is making to decimate this man, Zabwere, Mafia Yemutabula, Mafia. Is Bobby Wine has Bobby Wine's people stolen COVID money? Has Bobby Wine's people stolen money intended for radios? I've read this man's newspaper. Radios are here. You read here.
Submission of bids. Bids should be submitted to address below, no later than the date and time of the deadline law. Late bids will be rejected. Date of deadline, yearly 22nd August 2020. Time of deadline, 11 a.m. Address, Minister of Education and Sports.
You cannot edit an English newspaper when you are stupid. And I doubt he's not stupid, but he's caught up with a mafia. He thinks that he can deceive everybody. If the tenders were recently opened, bids, how can the radios come in the country now? Two, we have two types of radios. They were allocated 400 billions on the project. The first consignment of radios was to come during the COVID, when the schools are not opening. Kakati today, you are talking about the resumption of schools, radios. Which type of radios have arrived? The radios that have arrived are in his head. If they have arrived, you wouldn't be talking about the resumption of schools. If the radios have arrived. If they have arrived, and they are the same radio stations that could help the students, then the bids would stop. Nabagamba, nti president bamutwala mu gundi n'ebifaananyi biina mu kizimbe ekitaliiyo nga bakisanzeeko ne bamugamba nti buy Uganda. About 4 million zina kukolebwa wantu tuyina ba manufacturer. Let anybody tell me whether we have a radio manufacturing company in Uganda. Ne batwala mu nabino niye bajja bayola. These are documented things. And when I document some of these things at the embassies,
birabibwa
bisomebwa biri documented
biwulibwa
ojo kulaba yogwe bakutte omuchina yadduka omuchina
oli kuagamba yesiga kiwi
omuchina yesiga kiwi akala kagendedde mugundi mu kibox kya nyanya ku airport obulala buli bubiri fugitive buli wa muntu but what did I do about the Chinese soko osomewa abachina nabagamba ki
finally China should understand that the projects being implemented in Africa are permanent monuments that form bases from which its reputation can be appreciated or discredited. It should be noted that China has financed several projects in Uganda, including an ice cream plant, Kibimba Rice Scheme, and Mandela National Stadium. China should be mindful of the democratic process going on in Africa, and its policy should not be very far from what America and European countries have deployed. China should avoid a status of Indians and Lebanese who are always targeted during political upheavals in East Africa. Following the failed coup in Kenya in 1983, angry mobs targeted Indian women and shops. This state of affairs happens when citizens perceive that foreigners have taken over what the local people can do.
Yes, Nabagamba, we call it a bogey. In East Africa, the Indians are hated. Why? They live a slightly better life than others. The moment you live a slightly better life than others, you compete with the natives over resources, you are gone. Why do people talk about Banyarwanda here, not the Congolese?
Because they live a better life than others.
They compete with us. That's why there was a hot debate in the parliament in NRC about the future of the Banyarwanda officers in Yame. Rwejema was the deputy minister.
True.
Excellency Kagame was head of the same way. Ugandans were perturbed. So, but the Congolese with their Bikoyi, with their Lesu, who cares about them?
No one cares about them.
Why has these Europeans, why have they maintained their stay in Africa for long? Abachina, babbi engatto, Abachina, babbi eddamu, Abachina, every day the Chinese have risked their future in Africa, especially in Uganda. Lwaki Tanzania, ebadde n'Abachina bazinga mu Tanzania gonde, teyekokola Abachina nga bali mu Uganda. Why is it that during Amin's time, the Chinese put up strong monuments, Mandela, ice plant, Kibimba ice cream? The problem is that the mafias have infiltrated the Chinese. Recently, bali bagambye president nti naitiro ina okola engoye tetusobola kwambala ngoye zammwe. Do you believe that in Japan there are no Mercedes Benzes? First put something on a standard. Bagobya abantu bonna Abachina. Whoever is using the Chinese is making their stay here very short-lived.
Tamale, mundowoza n'endaba y'ebintu, is there need to worry about Chinese? Kuba waliwo ebyogerwa.
Why are we not talking about the Americans? Why are we not talking about the British who are here for 70 years? Why do we talk about the Chinese? The Chinese are being used by the mafia gang. And they have surrendered.
What window was the
Gondi, Yisimba, 54 billion was taken using a fake Chinese. These radio stations, a Chinese had to paint himself, Kiwi, to run away. In these radio sets, another Chinese fled the country. This guy started a luggage at Entebbe airport. 2 Chinese are fugitives in Goma, where the mafias have a melting company.
Tamale Mirundi.
Bassajja bansiketi bankubidde esimu ne baŋŋamba nti oye tulagirire naye nti utafiirwa omukwano gwange yamanyi olulingala nja kumunoonya bagamba tulagirire we bali tubanywe balabika amakutiya ga ssente ge babyewa gali eno tunaakuwa kati bagenda kuduma balaga Nairobi naye munaakomawa. Stop stealing money. So I'm telling you, this is the easiest election for President Museveni.
Tamale Mirundi.
Why? Because we don't have a strong opposition in Uganda. the opposition which is being cropped up is because of the mafias.
Tamale
Mafia bayina 3 issues which is disturbing them. Mafias have been using people and dumping them.
Tamale Mirundi kusonga abachina ebakwesa ba mafia
bakwesa
abachina China waliwo endowooza egamba nti abachina initially wali bagamba muzaale babiri kati bazaala basatu n'okusobawo nga bagamba nti bazaala yagenda okujja mu Africa n'enkola y'okudepopulizing China.
9 million Chinese.
Olowooza omuchina si yakwesa ba mafias.
9 million Chinese in Angola. In Uganda we must have 2 million Chinese. First of all, the Chinese live in secrecy. But what exposes the Chinese is their food in the supermarkets. Do we eat snakes?
Not at all.
Yes. Once you see the Chinese food in the supermarket dominating our supermarkets, it means the Chinese are here. But it's secretive. But that is not me. The Ugandans are in China, and China has abandoned you. I admire the Chinese. In fact, when we talk about COVID, I'm going to write, you will read my book, what I predicted about the Chinese. But what I'm saying, the Chinese are also victims. And China is a worse imperialist. Why? They have got their money through the nose. When you see African leaders running to China for money, they think that the Chinese have made this money through miracles. It's not a miracle. China is very tough on its money. Once they catch you stealing money as the thieves here do, you are marooned on an island, you are executed irrespective of your contribution and status, you face life imprisonment. Kakati mumulowooza nti abachina bangu nnyo olina yekweka mu bachina olina yekweka mu bachina ne batwala ne sandals ne batwala ki ne batwala ki. This eno President Museveni, this is the easiest election as long as he can tackle the problem. Kakati mukano nakubuulira soma wano nkubuulire nti President naye namuwandika n'akatabana kabana nemba buli akadaaga temuyisobola kujooga bantu. What is eating up kadaga? Mukadaga bamalumu mujooga jaba kolere. I predicted the parliament. The parliament will be hostile to Museveni. Why? The way the mafias blundered, bargaining up. Do you see? I told you. Even Yolanya moves consciously. Bamukozesa ne bamuddukako. Their practice. Kakati ono omukazi anywa yajja nakweza abadde mu binnyo ne mukubaka akatabo. Tugenda kumenya mayumba g'abahamu, tugenda kukola kya fulumisa 5 billion. Bamuwagawaga kati anywa yatunde yagaba ekibira ebunyolo n'akigabira abasimbi b'ebikajjo. Museveni amubuuza wakikola otya. Ani yakulagira? Bali beekukumye bannannyini nsi. Deriyo bamafia beekukumye bati. Era I have written a book. If you want to serve these mafias, you can either be omulusula or omunyampi. Abalusula. But balina mukwano. Anywa badduse asiki anywa. Nti ani yakugamba okutunda ekibira. Ono omukazi wa energy namaze mukuba. Yabadde reya yabadde sente zitwala mu gundi. Sente za reya zitwazinunudde. Kakati ono omukazi mutibwa kati bagobyeyo embwa naye ani amubaddemu. Beekukumye bwe bati bali mu state house.
Tamale ba mafias boboyogerako.
Babe
President Museveni abamanyi
naye alwana nabo.
Lwaki tabakuba
ate kana akasajja ka New Vision kakugamba mu radio zazze. Ate examples of schools. If radios are the same radios to serve the same purpose, communication, and a consignment arrived, when the schools are taken, what do you do in normal circumstances? Nti watumye omwana ennyama ne wabaawo n'abaleetedde. What do you do? Emumugirira ekyaggulo temugiyiwa naye kasajja gwe walaba. N'omutwe gwako n'omutwe n'obugalubindi. Whom are you telling lies? If we have, okay, now that the radios that were supposed to be used by students during COVID have arrived, then we divert this money that you're going to use to buy radios as electronic, because these are radios. Okumenya Museveni ayina ekizibu. Bicycle za yero wazirabyeko. Wazirabyeko kazi kubanga ako kekejenti kennyini aka akasajja ke kabayambe nnyo keka kuba ebyekisirusiru byonna ne bukedde How can you have a credible national newspaper? You publish an article that an innocent businesswoman was killed by brokers against Oguletaka. Have you seen the story anywhere? In almost circumstances, every newspaper must make a follow-up. Where is this follow-up? From Bukid. I'm going to mobilize the people. When any newspaper that is in hands of a mafia editor, we don't buy it. And I have the influence. Kasatu tegeera nti kasajja kakuba bya busiru ba mafia be bakakozesa. Don't buy the newspaper. Temulugula
ochali
kadde esironko kubanga boogera bya busiru. You published a story that a woman has been killed. The police is not updating up. You are not making a follow-up.
Eranga wetwogerera onaku ntono nye mabega kawo permanent secretary mu kitongole eky'ebyobulamu Honorable Dana Atwine yavuddeyo n'afuna atongoza emitwalo 24
soko osemewa no
tamwe munikasoke mpisewo kano
ebyo bya busiru.
Dana Atwine yavuddeyo n'atongoza emitwalo 24 n'ekitunde zaabo abaagala okwekebeza naddala abo taba truck drivers abayingira mu nsi yatu Uganda yabagambye nga tonnayingira oteeka okubanga ogenda keberebwa ekirwadde kya COVID-19 ate nga ogenda sasula emitwalo 24 n'ekitundu ne companies nga STV in case oyagala okebeza abakozi bammwe weetaaga okusasula emitwalo 24 n'ekitundu. Tamale Mirundi nkimanyi obadde obisamba toninozo obadde ompuliriza emitwalo 24 n'ekitundu abo abaagala okwekebeza ekirwadde kya COVID-19.
It stinks like a malwa toilet. Never waste my time on such stupid things. You read
Tamale Mirundi banda Uganda ensonga ebadde
read here. They are provoking the people to riot. Mukazi gwe kyono onyojja ekifuna. Bajja kukifuna. These are Museveni's enemies who are forcing people to riot.
Let them riot. By the president.
Let them riot. This is a coup in a different fashion. Museveni is facing a rebellion from his team. Sibasiru. Sibasiru. These people are intelligent. But this is a coup in your president Yali. Many people believe that when you have a group that has invested heavily in the country, of stability, no, they develop into Akazu, and the Akazu eats its leader. These people believe abantu batutegedde tubabbi kubanga nabagamba tibakozesa politics
yes countries
bo balowooza ababbi baawano nti balinga ab'e Kenya. Ab'e Kenya tebabbanga ku bintu by'abantu. Ab'e Kenya government ya Bungereza n'eya Germany ya contributing a grant of $500,000 n'egula ebintu mu bali departing settlers. Bano babba tax n'aleeta bus na dispersing aba nabba owino nabba ki ne baddira ente ez'abalunzi bannaabwe ne bagamba nti kalusu bazikole eddondolo ekiro nadira ennyama nagiteekamu eddagala effu kubanga is exporting bawunye mu nju bawunye mu toyi from byabufuzi batugamba nti once in a group you feel in a group in your pockets inside your house you hate it and you fight back. Kasita obba obutale nobba egundi sente za covid nobba rediyo za gundi nobba no, this is too much.
Dana Atwine yavudde n'agamba nti testing kits tezimala.
Soma wano. Soma wano.
Katusoke tusome wano eno.
Soma wano nkubuulire.
A prominent businessman hired a consultant to reorganize his company which was facing financial problems. The consultant found out that the businessman was overspending on luxuries instead of reinvesting the profits into the company. The consultant advised him to cut down on his expenditure, which he rejected, and the company collapsed. Why couldn't this man adjust his luxurious life? The answer was that, like Obi, he could not disengage from the Clara machine that he had become part of the puzzle of his life. This attitude is common in politics. This is one reason why governments lose power or be defeated in elections. Losing power means that the government embarked on a self-destruction mission. It did mistakes that were avoidable. A defeat means that voters wanted change. It does not depend on the performance of the government. Therefore, in many cases, leaders operate like Obi. They find themselves at the point of no return. Okay.
Abakulembeze besanga akazunga tebasobola kejjako.
Okay.
Singa wasoma nnolo ngati yezi mwe nakijja. Ti omulenzi Obi yava bweru n'akwana Kirala. Kirala nga be bazaali be baani abali life. Naye nga bwe bamugamba nti omuwala akumala wa teyetajja mufumbiro. Yadda mukubba ssente mu gavumenti ne bamukwata. Kaka ne babuuza, why couldn't he disengage from the Kirala machine? Kirala had become part and parcel of his life. Era yababuuza bamugamba abawufobi abamuwera sente, why don't you pay us? But after struggling so much, you put me in a group where members greet each other. How does the car behave? Do they want me to say that my car is off the road because I failed to pay my insurance? Ye Obi. Kati n'abakulembeze beesanga nga balina akakundi ke batasobola kwejjako. Kafuuka party and person ne bakalowooza tiko kalina kubeera appeased. Akakundi kano katuuka ekiseera kano akazu katta mukama waako. Kubaka akati batuuka ne baliyorayizinga nti abantu batutegedde. People are bitter. Yeah? There is no sensible woman who can strip herself naked before drunkard men. They rape her. Diana yeta chimanyi. Tamanyi nti abantu bali bitter ate mmwe mulinde. You wait when the schools resume open. Mugenda kulaba nti ebizimbe kuba there was no inspection of schools. There was no maintaining department. Mugenda kusanga ebizimbe nti bigenda kuwa they are fit for abaana.
Ebimbatanse birundi
yes, bagenda bimenya. Kakati mugenda kusanga mu kisiibo nabagamba nti mu kisiibo n'omusiramu atalina ssente zirya mmere mulowooza yasiibi. Naye nga yasangiddwa asiiba. Kakati abaana babadde tebasomanga n'abaavu batudde. What you are seeing in arcades where tenants are fighting landlords, it is going to be intensified. It is going to be multiplied 100 times by people going to school. Mbabulirira oyo omuwala yereege. Yes, Uganda is like a house. Gye baterekamu ebidomola by'amafuta. Tozunza kabiriiti. Yebajjagalira kwani mubbye ssente z'enzige, mubbye amatete mwagawa abantu, mubbye emmere mugitaddemu obutwa. What else do you want? Uganda, even if Ugandans are very tolerant, muwala gwe. Don't. It is only a stupid woman who stripped herself naked before drunkard men. No situation tajimanyi.
Provoking abantu.
Kubanga ayina mulamu we naye bw'ati bw'alowooza balina gurupu yaabwe erowooza mujja kudduka. The super guru that is holding this country is Museveni. He goes in the morning, in the evening, chaos. Mulabe ekibuga
kyagambye ba mafia bali munda mwenyini.
Bwabanga President State House. Bakuwa sente mmeka. Ne bakuwa okugula gundi. Ne bakuwa awulira. Ne bakuwa okugula masks. N'oleeta bunika bw'abaana abato. These are knickers for children. Bukwata matameni. You buy knickers instead of gold. Children knickers. Which one have you produced? Read the Chinese. Nakugamba, I've told you. To me, I predicted that the Chinese will handle this. And very predicted. When I predicted 10 things, I see 8. I will be Diana running away. I will see this city burning. If you are speaking, get good. The people advisors. Such a girl should get an advisor, serious advisor. That these are not spokeable. You are stripping naked before drunkard men. You girl. Read here.
Tamale wano ogamba nti, I have always urged that China has developed faster than India, which has a bigger number of its population educated. This can be further explained by the following. India is engaged in a Cold War with Pakistan, which was forced it to invest more in defense in order to maintain a military edge over its rivals. Currently, both India and Pakistan are nuclear powers. Rampant and stinking corruption in India affects its development. China does not operate under elective democracy, whereas India is the largest democracy. Before a decision that affects many people is made in India, leaders must consider the election calendar first. India's unity has been undermined by sectarian interests and weak governments rising out of political alliances. On the other hand, China is under a dictatorship.
Parliament
in China, with all its 4,000 MPs, is just a rubber stamp. Yet the Indian Parliament is vibrant. China has managed to control riots and strikes that undermined implementation of unpopular government policies, which at times are beneficial to the country's development.
Nabaganti kasita China tekiza bubbi. Eyatwala akabuke China yatuyamba nnyo. The Chinese are well organized. Cholaba America kabasi na wano. It is easier to control. In my prediction at that time was Baba Gamba. The Akawoka kavudde China. Nimbagante yakatadde yakozesa experiment in China. The Chinese are well organized. Era bakakwata dda. Yes. Naye gwe woyina ababbi abatakwatibwako nti ababbi n'olwaleero nina kugundi yange nakubya akatambi kaliko emitwalo egi nga boogera ababbi nga boogera nze what pains me among the mafia gang there is a professor. The president knows the professor because why does the professor will tell you what the president is planning. I heard him saying nti obutambi mirundi bwaweereza mbuwuliramu naye omusajja kyatusonyiye busonyi ekitegeeza n'obutambi bwa president abusoma professor. But professor mugezi nnyo. If the president can call that professor ne boogera bambi, professor sees doom. Professor has a proper view about the impact of COVID-19 in this country. That professor. But I think he fears to tell the president the truth. Two, the professor also believes that unless Museveni handles the gang, which has failed to do, baliba ganga members bajoze buli muntu kati yogera ku UTL bani abajirimu. You think uyo mwala yajirimu?
Hapana.
UTL Gaddafi mwe yagula sente baziwerezanga ebweru. Gaddafi yakula mu shares Libya baziwerezanga ebweru tetumanyi bajirimu tetumanyi politics gundi bino bye muzanya ebyo embassies. You think I don't know? Nti waliwo ekikampuni ekitunda embassies ekizimanaginga innocent gundi staff nze simanyi. You think simanyi lutalo luli mugundi mukakanizi yatugamba mbu twaweereza sente China nga ziri more than what was wanted. Mukakanizi tera sente giwaziteeka
bagamba sente za Tamale.
You see what punishment did he give to somebody eyaweereza sente esinga obungi mukakanizi
ezali z'aba students
you tell that rubbish to the population. Omanya Abaganda bayina enkola yaabwe bakugamba mbwe ekizimba kyabulidde mu mubiri bw'oba obadde olyengege egumba n'olimira oli safe oba toli safe?
Toba safe
kuba ligenda kufumita ebyenda byonna. You talk rubbish, you control the media, but people batuula n'abammwe bennyini. And what is making us happy, the mafia gang is not tribalistic. Tebakulimbangako. The mafia gang is not tribalistic. Mafia gang fellowship is driven by their urge for money, insatiable urge for money. Kubanga, I can give you an examples. Look, Mugundi, Malaya, baba $50 million. Uyo muchayina yadduse president yalagira bagende bakabere emiti gy'amasannyalaze ne wayali ngenkuyegeza zire ginyinya gitinga amanyo g'abakadde katemye butemya akachayina ne kadduka. President naga nti companies zonna muzibula kalising omunene nakuba essimu mu internal affairs n'abagamba temubajjako working permit. Kati government ono aboggola n'ono aboggola. That's why I cannot be a minister in this government. Kakati nkugamba
Tamale sokolabe oyambala yero kakofira ka yere sate yere tali ya yero lwaki toyambako President Museveni
okwagamba
okwogera engeri gy'oyogeramu kiraga nti ba mafias at one point in time basobola okuwa
baweddeyo nabagamba nze nali njogerera Kawempe ne mbagamba nti kasite messe erume kanzu ya nanyinimu tesula mu nyumba kuba Abaganda babeeranga ne kanzu emu yegenda ku buko yegenda wa kati agijjeyo ng'emmese yagiruma agigulira Dyson mbabazi teyafuluma nabaga nti emmese bweruma obugoye bw'abaana nannyini maka agamba buli empuuta ne butanaaba naye kasiteekwata ku kanzu ya nannyinimu bajja gigulya dayizoni ayipulitikitedi mbabazi nabaga nti mu nnyumba mulimu emmese naye emmese etigomeza obugoye bw'abaana naye etigomya buli kintu kyonna naye kati tugiwonye kasiteeramuzizza ku kanzu ya nannyinimu golooza abaganda bayimba baga nannyinimu atamidde tokwata ku mmere ye nannyinimu atamidde tokwata ku mmere ye omwekyo baba bategeeza nti goyinza okulaba omusajja nga atamidde n'olebera n'eddiiro mu mukazi we nti asigadde mu ddiiro ne mukazi we kino kitamidde omuganda ga nannyinimu atamidde tokwata ku mmere ye nannyinimu atamidde tokwata ku mmere ye ebitamivu bwe biyimba mu bbaala bitegeera nti ono ayagala nakwanamuka omusajja ono amugulira omwenge kubanga bbaawo akoze eki kati liri ettamivu mu kumuwooninga kyeziva liyimba nannyinimu atamidde tokwata ku mmere ye nannyinimu atamidde tokwata teri nannyinimu akwatirwa ku mmere ye kati bano bamafiya kasaba mu bye 50 million ne babba leediyo zino kano akawumba tutu akafekete ne kagamba mbu leediyo zazze ate amasomero gaddamu kati ate bagulya ki leediyo endala kati ekyo kitegeeza options zaabwe zigenze ziggwawo the moment they threaten Museveni survival Museveni cannot retire when this mafia gang is still strong ayina okumala ogikuba two options endala bagenze wa Bobi Wine nakuba jakatambi ku Saturday nga mwenda ababuuza mwami mwenda ndi mungu mu fellowship wani atakolagana na Bobi Wine kakati that is a very big mistake by the way Bobi Wine temumanyi bamuvuga anybody who takes power after Museveni will know that Museveni is running this country as the way, in a modern way policies zezo kakati Bobi Wine after 5 years nga olina kwata power abantu bajja muwamba Museveni yali mugezi nnyo bwe yakwata power yajiddiza abantu ne beerondera kuva wansi n'abasasifayi kati bino ebiremi byammwe si abalondera parliament si yakolaki bamafiya balina listi y'aba MPs be bagenda okusasulira okuwa ssente oba beeno basi beeno that's why nti I said Tango Odoyi don't shout at us Tango Odoyi you have exposed yourself resign ono namuganza bamugana okwogera ne baleeta Kadaga why should Kadaga why should monitor give Kadaga a headline why because Kadaga doesn't know that the mafia is using her now they want Kadaga to legitimize the elections it is not their interest now okukiza namuganza ayogere kati ate ye Tana je yakutte wabi Tana agamba gundi oyo Tango Odoyi don't shout at us Tango Odoyi will respect his head and design why yalemeddwa okufumbira abagenyi abatono agenda anasobola okufumba emmere Tana amugamba the votes are more than the delegates bamusibye ejjiribwa kati kyobalaba Tana the mafia controlled media temuwa kwogera the mafia controlled media tewa namuganza kwogera you have not seen a story about namuganza why a mafia controlled media tewa Tana publicity why because Tana exposes Tango Odoyi nti Tango Odoyi didn't you know the number kwafe ababbi abali scientific mala kumanya baba delegates bali bameka Tana says with evidence that there are more votes than the delegates take responsibility and resign olemereddwa okufumbirwa abagenyi bana tukukwasa tutya okufumbira essomero Tango Odoyi yes but the mafias don't see why are they doing this they are doing this because they have certain people they want to be on the executive who can top of Museveni
Tamale Mirundi ba mafias bano olowooza bye bakola byonoona erinnya lya mukulembeze w'eggwanga ekirowooza tekyongera
nze mbasinza amaanyi ankugambye nti Bobi Wine is suicidal buli abakulembeze bakigezezaako nti let Paulo Muwanga remove Obote tuteese n'abayeekera ba Museveni tusharinge power Muwanga had succeeded by the time Museveni came it was only NRM that rejected the peace talks fedemu yalimu bokero nga bakoze kansani semogere mwali olo bidandi mwali olo ne kuteesa yalimu kutesa with the Attorney General of Okero. Because they wanted to isolate Museveni as a homemonger. Museveni refused to n'abakuba n'abajjako. Bali mu power. Ekyamuwanga ne kigaana. Look what Zambia. Chiruba yalowooza kandeete Patrick Mwanawasa. He will die in 2 years. The doctors have predicted that he will die in 2 years. Mwanawasa died after 7 years. Why? He propelled him into the presidency and he got money to treat himself. The 2 years period had been based on his resources as a lawyer in Zambia. Teyakwata Chiruba n'amusiba. What about this man in Angola? Dos Santos. Eyakuba Unita n'agijjawo. Eyakuba Savimbi n'amusika Musalo Grave. Is he the man on the run? Gwolowooza teyalowooza, didn't he consider nti successor we ajja kuba ono? Within a very short time, nabagamba politics, money, marriage change people's attitudes. Omwenge tegwonoona muntu. In fact, when you see your enemy resorting to beer, put up your hands, thank God. He's going to waste himself. He will die. Naye kasitola bw'omuntu afumbiddwa n'afuna ssente. Ask these women. Bw'oba weeyazikanga olugoye lw'omuntu ne bafuna ssente tadda. Tayagala na history eyo nti weeyazikako olugoye ewaffe. That's why Museveni does not believe in political assassinations. Museveni just hands you a political rope and you hang yourself. Otherwise, Machiveri agamba nti a priest to rule comfortably must eliminate all of those who are reported. Kakati eno venture gye bakola mu Bobi Wine ne bakugirayo bano ba musajja gundi ne bakugirayo nabagamba nti Bobi Wine alinga omukazi ayina akabina akanene ne bw'omubbako ekikooyi, you are not affecting a bomb. Kakati kankubuuza, what's the value of this money to NRM? What's the value of full figure to NRM? What value addition did these people get? Because NRM does not need to abuse people. NRM is in the government. What you need to do is to have a media team that can analyze the policies of government and defend them. The way you do it. Kakati to that NRM, the issue is, do you expect me, an intelligent man, who is not a Murusula, who is not a fool, that the son of Yohana Mirundi can defend these radio stations when the documents are here, when I have the documents? Do you believe I can defend COVID? Your stupid suggestions on COVID. COVID needs one thing. Because the president is like a medical doctor who is treating a patient. If the president knows that the drugs he applied on combating the disease have done well, let him maintain the status quo. If he knows tonight that the drugs have not worked on the patient, let him change the doctor and the drug. In mass communication, a source matters, the credibility of a source. If you maintain Diana in that job with the utterances she's making, nobody will listen to her vomit. What you need to do, evaluate, because COVID-19 is here to stay. I'm watching the Chinese. The Chinese say schools are reopening, but under strict measures. Do you believe anti kakati ye contradiction?
Tamale Mirundi ensonga ya embassy mu Denmark.
If we have alarming numbers, rising numbers over COVID, can you think of opening churches? They talk contradictory. The moment you say that we are opening, unless you put in the because COVID-19 is here to stay. Do you believe Trump does not have the influence and the money to order the American scientists to produce a vaccine? Because COVID is losing the battle over COVID, the way he handled the COVID. So, for Baganda Batugama, when you kill Sematimba, Nichuabang, when you kill Sematimba, Nichuabanga, Baziranga, Bariada, the Ronganze, Rulika, Waneri, Nabulagala, Umganda Kugam. when I remember Sematimba and Chikwabanga, the bravest men at the time, they are dead. What about me? So if the American president has failed to force the scientists to pump money to produce a vaccine, it means the vaccine is nowhere. If the British abagezi ababadde mu nsi yonna abasajja batwala ebizungirizi ku mwezi aba America eddagala libabuze. What about if Chikwabanga can fail to fight? What about Sematimba and Chikwabanga abali abazira, the bravest of the time, have failed to face the enemy? Then what about me? That's what Muganda says in his song. Bwenziyukira Sematimba ne Chikwabanga
mu Russia Omungereza balemeddwa ate gwe
ekitegeeza kakati gwe president alina okukkiriza ayongera ababbi be balye era nakibupulidiki nga wano nabagamba kana katabo nakawandika nakatuma the covid mafias. Covid mafias nabagamba nti abasajja bano era balina okubbako balina okubbako nakugamba kasome wano okubere ne date ndi atawandika ndi mbere wansi wa Dombo atawandikanga na kudambi ebyo mulimba
Tamale Mirundi
analoga nti Mirundi kanoti wakanda Dombo kanoti wakanda Nabakoba kanoti waka anda gundi nankabirwa ayiwaka alone.
Tamale Mirundi agamba nti the mafias in Uganda who take advantage of every calamity to enrich themselves saw coronavirus outbreak as an opportunity to steal money. When President Museveni introduced tough measures, the mafias were not threatened. Borders remained open as well as Entebbe International Airport. The president allowed people to enter the country on condition that they would be quarantined for 14 days, but pay for the cost of accommodation and feeding during this period. This became attractive to the mafia gang, who knew they would influence the authorities to take travelers into their hotels. The mafias looked at isolation quarantine as source of income, and their simple calculation was $1,400 per every traveler in just 14 days. Secondly, they used their influence and their wide network to get relatives and friends out of isolation centers, more like the cannibals at my village who fed on Mulinywa's body and developed the deadly needle. The mafias underestimated the virus. They didn't know that by allowing their relatives to violate quarantine, they were taking the coronavirus into their homes. This was not the usual case from which they used to steal billions of money the way they did during the locust invasion. They were inviting death to their homes.
Yes. This is a nice chance of stealing money. When you look at these people, Enzige, they announced the arrival of Enzige when no single insect was resident in the country. Ngabeyambisa foreign photographs. The billions were released to them. When the Enzige actually came, they had no money. Nibadayo. Nibatukama. Baina nenyonyi. Bajisasude millions of dollars. Do you know how much money? $3 million? Until the president was fed up. Nagamba amaje UPDF. That's why UPDF gwejobuze singa bakuga nti abapolisi baserengese mange nibaga nti ne local defense eserengese ekuterino n'amaje gakuterino olagawa
ngenda wali amaje
Uganda ni alagawa
agenda wali UPDF.
This is the first time when Ugandans prefer the army to the other security forces. Why? Their commitment. Nti Enzige has been locusts toka nti Enzige tezichaje nina kwezo baziraba nti they are on their way. Yes, Kenya bakwata ba scout. In Uganda, the general who has defeated Enzige without the $3 million is General Kavuma. Has never found a paragraph in any of our newspapers.
Tamale Mirundi.
Kakati bwetutuuka ku gundi. Wait. Bwetutuuka ku COVID. They asked for the money. Nebasiba wa emmere bichi atemba sasa.
Banayugana
President yabawa $59 billion. okuva mu State House bwe batuuka Entebbe ne befufulia bannaabwe bakuwaatudde ne babasiba ndi banyampi gundi abanyampi because to work with them you must either be omunyampi is somebody who takes responsibility. We derive it from our culture. Kings, the feudalistic kings, bwe yafuuwanga nga balina kwa Ssaabasajja nze ekikoze ye Kamuswaga yayina baseegu Kamuswaga ono wekkoki had a group of younger men who could shout obscenities to him during nga bagenya abandi naye nga bw'owemula n'atasika they kill you straight to you. You shout an obscenity what if it does not attract laughter from Kamuswaga you are dead. Kakati abanyampi the kuwaatudde abanyampi the real people who swallow the manna comfortably looking after their house in their farms. Now ne baddira amata abaana abayonka n'abaki mujja kufuna amata. Where is the milk? Maybe bagigatta mu mpewo abakazi basanzise but there was no milk. Billions were taken. Kakati bwe bategeera nti ate kati we are having obulwadde buzze airport muzeyi n'agiggala naye there was no single sanitizer one. Genda obuze Entebbe airport nti sente mugula bagula president sanitizing gundi companies bagula bazigula government egula. What's the component, the percentage of Ministry of Health money as far as good mu kibuga mwali baddemu ne muli tanka ebinene ng'ebibeera ku mizikiti gy'abasiraamu strategic places sanitized water lwembuulira two ekisaawe ky'Entebbe Kabasa agenda okugendayo nga balina bidomola bye bafuka naye nga miliyoni 10 bagibye eza sanitizer. They stole 100 million intended for at Entebbe International Airport nga aliwo bidomola bwe biti ne bajjayo abaana baabwe ne babaleeta nnaku ezo waliwo eyaneereegako okuva ku NBS yali abbye 5 billion wooteri ye temwasula bantu aneereegako eno agikwateko alabye nkuyingiza kabuli mu nnaku 3 yukabowe mujogajoga nnyo abantu weyataafu naawe obbye 5 billion why don't mbutanjogera ku gwani nali nditekebwamu emmere where do you control my head 5 billion basasudde amakampuni gaabwe agataliiko. What amazed me omukyala yava mu America ne bamutwala ekkololo eyo mu isolation center babbireyo sente kakati ayagala kwesimbawo mu Eastern Uganda ne omusajja n'amulaga emmotoka yange Land Cruiser nti agitunda nagaye ye emmotoka gyenjagala waffe tumaintaininga emmotoka ebeeyirira nimuga nja gibaguza ye nze neneekweka mmanyiddwa omukazi yava mu isolation center najjala muze emmotoka nabaga I've been given only 3 hours to go back kati eyo karantini. Why are you saying yes? The Baganda have an Abyssinian proverb, but I will make a rap it correctly. The Baganda tell you that if you are cleaning a patient and you arrive at the lower buttocks and you feel a stench, tolerate it because this is the exit pipe of a human being. Nti to ate onogano otya byekivaayo ate badde osubirayo ki kakati if akawuka mwakazanyiramu these figures because of Museveni's involvement and the international media nti twategeera Queen bamukwese ne tutegeera gundi bamukamufunye ne tutegeera White House bagigadde. This is how
Tamale Mirundi President Museveni agenda meeting task force joka mate Judemba mafia olunaku olwale kusuubira ki oyogere bitwana ku.
This is my opinion.
Olowooza President Museveni bimutuukako bate bimutuukako
monitor one of the control the mafia outpiece bakugambye. I raised the question. The president was clear. Donate to me vehicles. Kuba badde emotoka za government ne bazitwala mu byalo.
Tamale moto kweziddawo.
Anti kyenkubuulira bwe malo zoogerako. Give us a single photograph where one of the vehicles was donated to a local hospital. Hakuna. Badde akafaananyi abasajja amawulire mugawere ngenda gutuumira eggulire lirikuba ekyobusiru enkya tetusoma. This is how yes me who has a registered censorship one who me ntambuze I'm the only person in Uganda. President yakanti abantu be babakuba ba supporters be NRM babakuba. Njagala ntambuze ebigere ekibuga kyonna olaba endulu bwe zivuga. First of all, abamu bagenda ne bagamba, abamu bagamba mbu akolagana nabo kyovola bati bamukuba opposition. No, they inam committed baganti akasajja ka Museveni. Bakimanyi, amwe committed man. Even the president knows nakabiro yagenda yijo. Mbu anvuma atulemeseze emirimu. Ate how can me fail you on your job? It means I'm more powerful than you. Nakabirwa against ejo. When did you stop reporting Museveni to me? Kakati gwe chembuza kati nakabirwa yalowooza nze atayina mulimu mu government to control me as who.
Tamale Mirundi.
The president can invite me as a friend. Sina mulimu mu government. I don't have a government job.
Tamale, buchangwe mafias. Buchangwe kwa mafias. Tetulabanga action hiyo. Na kitegeze bigambo byogera. Tebituka general president general Museveni. Nerero bagendo kumitinga butaba mafias.
Kugambye is not Museveni to judge. Doctor asobola okujja. I have two medical doctors. Asobola okujja. Nakugamba nti omulwadde wammwe ajja kuba bulungi. Dokita bw'afuluma taata wammwe n'abaga nti muleete muliraanwa nkole ddaami, which means the patient knows his health more than the medical doctor. Today is not the question of Museveni praising the National Task Force. It is Ugandans, and we have an election here. Museveni is fortunate. These issues, what I say, would have been raised by a vibrant opposition. I've told you, if the opposition leaders are in the armpit of the mafia gang. But today, me as a scientist, a political scientist, I know. Let them jump on Bobby Wine. To jump on Bobby Wine means they are losing options. Kati oyo omuwala byayogera. First of all, kankubuli, kati omuwala byayogera obimanyi.
Dana twine.
Bayina amasomero gaabwe. That will apply to schools. Before your kid comes.
Bakusaba abiri mwena.
Naye mupye gwanga, Diana mupye gwanga lino.
Wewawo.
The nation needs, if you think that Ugandans are fools, we shall see.
For now, let's take a break and omukuku na Tamale Mirundi ranga tukubaganye birozo ku nsonga nyingi ezigenda maso mu gwanga ku program divaita Sharp Talk. Tugoberere ku mikutu jaffe ja Facebook, Twitter wamune ku YouTube. Sharing akebera ngo sharing never know basolo kulanga bafuna ku mawulire gano ba information efuluma okuva omukuku na Tamale Mirundi batero kugamba nti information is power. Bobato ina information ne mukitegeeza obeera dormant era bangi nnyo bakulinyako ne batuuka gye baagala. Wabula tuze tukuwa tugoberera emboozi ya Male Mabirizi.
Sokoleke.
Nga akube bitulu mu kusoma kwa wamu n'emyaka gye ng'agamba nti nno Bobby Wine empapula ze tezimukiriza kubanga yasimba okubeera president w'eggwanga wamu n'emyaka nti yalimba ku ky'emyaka. Mabirizi kikyazaako
bamabirizi abo singa mubaleke
olunaku olw'eggulo Bobby Wine yavuddeyo n'atangaza ku ky'emyaka gye n'atangaza ne ku by'ensoma
kati nze njogera ku mabirizi
kikyazaako
n'obudde bwange
kikyazaako mabirizi
kankubuulire akatabo kano kalaba enseekeezi
enseekeezi tegeeza kitama
nakawandiika Detroiters nakawandiika
wakawandiika nkiwandiise olwaleero nga 19 ogw'omusanvu 2012
kakati guno omukono ani ali emabega waago ani ali emabega waago ekifaananyi
amama Mbabazi
kaali kaddi
2012
Mbabazi yajjadde
yajja 2016
naye guno ani yali mu kizikiza nga atambula enseekeezi
yali amama Mbabazi
omanyi akatabo kano president yakaagala nnyo mu campaign baabugula muwazane kano enseekeezi nakano kaliwa enseekeezi nakano ak'olunyankole kali ne mululuwo
kagamba ki
kano
lunyankole okugalukamu ebishuuma
obulimba
bitegeeza kitamale
era anti obulimba bw'abano n'empandiika wolokoso mu nnimi zonna wolokoso bw'abavuganya Museveni. This is when I earned the printing press from him. Ne kati ekaddi nze sikolera short term. One, I will never work with these people again.
Tamale Mirundi
nkubuulire mawe mabiri tukiyita reverse psychology. This is a scientific election.
Alinge yaweddemu
nkugambye yali abaddemu naki is a media man yaka mwe mumuwandiikako
kwegamba tumutongere muwanika.
Gundi somebody drew my attention. Oli mutani wange ali wa Bobi Wine manyi bamumisiyozinga abeena ali mbali bagenze bamugulembo nengamba bala mukuba ennyondo mwali muzimpaddeko. You were stupid. Family yaffe terimu ebyo mbuga mugole bamuleete mulabe nga mujjeeyo oba ndabe mukazi wange wa DP nga mujjeeyo. Bw'okyama nyumba gange bwe yali agenda namubuulira nti wa join you are venturing into some naleka n'omulimu mulungi nnyo nali mufunidde omulimu mulungi nnyo n'agulekawo n'alaga mu Bobi Wine. Somebody drew my attention nti mutani gwagambye nti ekifaananyi kya president ekyadiguli kiriwa nimugamba nimukubidde essimu nti president eri mu byammwe ebyo nti ye akulaga purpose. Immediately arrived at the university mu 69 yagenda Mozambique yagenda ne Kawanga bano bonna Kawanga Wakapabulu ono Gonde Sekandi ono Gonde yali katekero wa Buganda baali naye nti nze nkuze birthday abana bagabagenda ne bagamba dadi tukuze birthday mbagamba kati munzizeyo mu lubuto lwa nnyabo nzire munzaalibwe push me back inside my mother's bed nkuze birthday. Some of us degree we don't have good serious people don't consider those things serious.
Malema biliza ze malema nga Bobi Wine asise
malema bilizi
na echa dachi onakulekulo yavudde mwanukula era natangaza
malema bilizi is an agent of Rupia Banda intalo zonna za Rwanda. Do you believe nti malema bilizi could take on the president? Erono musajja sibaji sajja gundi immediate olwavuddeyo kabaka obwakabaka mbwambala bukoze eki kwegadirya mwije mwakoze yakuba bwakabaka. That was a mistake and I talk to him. Kikutegeeza ki ono bonna boogera kabaka. There is no muganda bukanidwaga mwe naye waliwo yabawola ssente mengo ne bamuwa ekyapa kya Bulange kakati ate ne bamubba. Abaganda bwe bagugumuka ne babagamba nti ekyapa kiriwa ne bamugamba nti kituwe tukikulirize tebakiriza nga ekyapa ababetenta. Kakati do you believe Mabirizi can have the money and influence to go to the East African Court of Appeal over the 75-year cap AM7? Doesn't it look similar to a tulo case ey'Ebungereza mwe babbira ssente? Our call who was in Uganda Revenue Authority will want to tell us whether a presidential pledge is paid by Uganda Revenue Authority. Bajja kuba bekukumye bo bali kufaamu zaabwe bafuwa mika. Our call you will lose even a spoon. You will refund the money at a given time and appropriate time. You will be picked from Karamwe from Manyata to come and refund this money. Tulo case but tenabafumbi bachai. The same group is sponsoring ono gundi Mabirizi to take the president to nabalamuzi ne bawulira. How is there a federal government in Arusha? Has any of the member states surrendered its sovereignty to Arusha to create a federal government? This is an experiment. Do we have a unified constitution we follow in East Africa? Balwanyisa Museveni. Kakati ono Mabirizi mukwano gwa Bobi Wine. Omanyi kyebayita leading
kyogamba Mabirizi kyakola Bobi Wine yafunamu atya
anti yefuiwe ndikankubuulire Bobi Wine abadde atambulira ku advice register the party n'agifuna ne bagugumuka nembaga nti no the pioneers aba ekibiina basobola okukitunda n'ekyenaalemu bidandi ne Mbabazi ne Kigongo kibaki Mbabazi ne bidandi bakyalimu. Why? The Lord does not say, like in a company, the Lord does not say that when you start a political party, you cease to be a pioneer, a founding member of NRM. Bebajiwandis, beba pioneers. Until the law is amended, but bidandi member wa maanyi nnyo. Mwe mwamuyiseeko ne Mbabazi nga mulonda solo candidate. it applies to Bobby Wine. Ekitegeeza ekireta yali akubono. Mugezi nnyo. You need an intelligent man. We call it reverse psychology. Reverse psychology means
olinga agamba nti nature Bassajja Mivule kuva munno Bobby yafunamu.
Bobby yafunamu. Anti bakulowoozesa nti oli ayina. Bakulowooza nti eri aweakeninga ta weakeninga. Is not weakening. Naye bakulimba deception. Abalabe ba Museveni bakulowoozesa oyo omwana oyo ayinza okuba nga nebyakola tabitegeera ye muli wa center yagala media oyo balamu. But the real architecture of these things, how did Kusasira affect this man? How did others affect Bobby Wine's cause? Because even if today Bobby Wine crosses to NRM, you are creating problems for yourself. You would even strengthen Bobby Wine's group. Why? The moment these frustrated Ugandans don't see any other way of peaceful change of government, they will resort to violence. Hey, Bobby Wine abantu babe besi tebamugwako sebagala tebamugwako. Do you have permanent, when you talk about support, do you have permanent support? Do you have traditional support? Do you have
church religious support?
Artificial support? Fecal support. We call it fecal support. Ani akwagala? Is it money? Banabaka parliament, is it money chi? Abantu bakwagala. This is why regimes ezana kuizana ya gundi ya Habyarimana collapsed. Ezana kuizana ngabali rudda ekikumi ku kikumi. Ndi twawangudda gundi bayusi bana twabawangudde. Bayusi bamu abawangudde. Kakati katulinde temuteeka bukalu. Tulabe anti mu abawangudde. Ngaba used to be agitating for change. All of this is artificial. And I don't believe that Muyekera Museveni can believe in this, can talk about it to please the wound. Kakati Bobby Wine yafunamu. Why? Look what this history from this head. When Lukwago came, stood for mayorship, what happened? Bamugamba talina buyigirize. Why? Bw'osoma akatabo ka Nkano.
Tamale Mirundi.
Nkubuulira anti you wait. Nkugaa nti bw'osoma akatabo kange kuba weekali bakita invisible hand. Invisible hand nabawandikira ne mbagamba nti era bali bagala kujjako Museveni at that time. Ninga akalabyeko wa invisible hand. Kakati Lukwago bamugamba talina buyigirize. Why? Mbabazi yali ku Sematimba. Lukwago nga si wa DP. Lukwago yajanga independent.
Waliwo invisible force.
Era nakugamba in that book nti Lukwago yali talina sente zimuleeta. That's why Namboze yajja ba volunteers mukono. By the time we carried out the elections, Lukwago yali talina ba observers ku 1,000 polling stations. Okutuusa Segona kujjawa lweyafuna information from a rival faction eyali tayagala Mbabazi kutwala bwa meya. Ne bagamba nti obulubuli staffed. The exercise was halted. It was a battle. There was a battle. But it was later found out that Lukwago had the qualifications. Nantaba. When Nantaba was appointed State Minister for Land, that was a parliament. Went up in arms.
Bassajja Mivule kati Mbega.
Ate Mbega chi.
Anti ogambye Bassajja Mivule n'agenda mu
NRM.
N'agenda mu NRM. No, Bobby.
Tayina kyefiiriddwa. Bano balimba Museveni, something is being done. We are weakening Bobby Wine. You started fighting Bobby Wine. Olunaku Bobby Wine lubamuleta mu katabo kange muno nkugamba aka Bobby Wine. Nti with my eyes, nalaba one of the senior ministers in Museveni's government with the sacks of money. Nga ina emitwalo 5 Gandhi vote Bobby Wine. Nga bo bamulese to create him as a gold mine okulya ku Museveni cent. Abalemeredde. How can we become relevant to the president? By not stealing COVID money. By not stealing money intended to buy radio sets. This is how you can be relevant to Museveni. But not to create trouble for him. They brought Bobby Wine. Bebamwereetera abalemeredde. Kati balaga Museveni nti balina kye bakolawo. Tulese kusaasira. Nikibaki? Kusaasira linga kikoyi. Kijje ku mukazi omunene. Ina kyafiiringa. Because this man has no structure. nabaga nti this man alimu America oba abazungu aba Europe. Why? I can understand their situation. In Europe and America, they use slogans. Schroeder in Germany was a popular chancellor. All of the 3 women can't be wrong. Yawase Mirundi age. Slogan yamukuba. Bush we yajja Junior yagamba they came together, they should go together. Clinton ni nani? Ne aliko. They came together, they go together. In Kenya, kila kitu kinawezekana kwa Kenya bila Moi. Everything in Kenya is possible if Moi goes. This is the slogan that took Moi. Why is it? Lwaki buli avuganya Museveni concentrating ku Museveni ng'omuntu? Why? Because the mafias have created a situation that let us heap everything to Museveni. Kila kintu kinawezekana kwa Uganda bila Museveni. No. Museveni has not stolen money. Museveni is struggling with a formidable and entrenched mafia which controls the media.
That he knows and he cannot deal with
and
it.
And abakolako has liberated Leia babadde bazemba wulira kati amagezi ge basaze but these are fools. Some of these are fools. Nti kati gwe mubadde mukubye at one time bayagala okutta omuvuka Lutwama ne bagala mutta Lutwama. What happened? Nasula kona wana muyamba kakati president bwamutaddeyo ne bamanya tebagenda kubba chichi bakoze eki kati ate bagala Lutwama mbwate bagenze wamwende ekiro abawandikira ati ku Lutwama ono mutabani wange Kigunda here the case started nimba gamba nti I have recorded the tape for 3 hours a younger man intimidating the judges eno case nayo yali wodda mafias don't run into new tricks abasajja bawaabo omusango nga Alcon ye fake company was a fake one day mujezisa sula baleta fake company nega nti nzimbi Alcon nti nzimbi wakaza kusine ejirima niba waba mu court nga bawadderoko omuntu y'omu azza anyaga buli wamu era yaleeta akayindi akakadde busoyi biki gundi omulamuzi yali awulira omusango gwa Alcon n'abagamba nga bajulidde bafunye e Kenya ni formato ne General Kibaki okuba exposing Alcon nti company ye Kenya tebangayo mukyala kiwonoka ye Minister of Finance omulamuzi yalwala mu January nga Sekono Secretary General yali asazeewo babwabe contract yenge gwako omulamuzi n'aganze naye bali mujjayo. These cases are going to be reviewed. Do you hear in America people talking about construction of roads? Museveni abikoze tugenda kujja ku corruption noyo yiba muyole kakati what these same thieves are saying. Chigundu says I've audited my account nenda bamunziba. Why don't you create a counter audit badduka misinde kukifuula political mbwaddire ebizimbe bye babitwale nga bwe bali batwala Alcon katubakubireko mu nju. Let us incite the population. You go on a self-destruction mission. Mugende mu self-destruction mission. Ebyo byonna kakati gwogamba kati Museveni bamulimba nti has achieved. Nze kemanyi Museveni omuyekera singa akwata oyo gunde oyo Bassajja Kambu ajja mubuulira nti beewo be bantuma. If you can get a chance, singa president ya meeting abano ba defectors mu kyama
mwagazamwe emmotoka etawulira binnya ne pick up esono genda mu byalo.
Yes, ngani amuwuliriza bajja mukuba. The more the rest they can do. Credibility and the popularity, they are like a virginity. You cannot get married and remain a virgin. If boyagala ekibumba kya wambuzi, toyiza kwagala ekibumba bakugirimu ekibumba mu mbuzi. Mu Uganda mukamwe muli empuuta etayina nnuuni waliwo yagitendalinga naye mujoze ensi nemuli akamunyi nemuli ente nemuli enkoko n'obukunkumukwa ne bugwa wansi nabo ne mubuyolayo. You are living on borrowed time. Tebakulimbanga nti yakyalina support.
Simon Chris Makangera nga tukyakubaganya ebirowoozo ku nsonga nnyingi nnyo ezigenda
ntinze
wikyewedde twalabanga ba European delegates bakyalirako ebibiina by'obufuzi eby'enjawulo basooka ne bakyalira kyogwasookera ddala basooka ne bakyalira ekibiina kya NRM era nga bali mu kafubo akatwala essaawa eziwera ddala 2 era nga bayogera ku nsonga nyingi nnyo olwavaawo ne bagenda mu kibiina kya FDC ne bava mu FDC ne bagenda mu DP ne bava mu DP ne bagenda mu ANT. Tamale Mirundi by European delegates okukyalira ebibiina by'obufuzi ebya opposition tetunaba kubalaba nga bakyalira ekibiina kya NRM naye okukyalira ekibiina bya opposition kitegeeza era banoonya ki
anti kakati mwetemumanyi ate gwasoma international relations
anti munauganda yeebuuza okumanya nti bano ba European delegates okukyalira ebibiina by'opposition babeera banoonya ki
apart from Britain the European Union gives aid as a union. Bilateral. 2, they send observers. But observers, bakola kinemu 19 baaliwo wano. They excited the opposition. Obote refused to meet them. Obote said, I don't know why they are here. Maybe they are here on a jubilation. Kakati the European Union cannot excite me. Why? There is nobody who has a veto in this country. That the Europeans will tell us what to do. The Europeans don't come at the right time. What does the Constitution say? What are the laws governing elections say? Yes. Election laws zigamba zitya. What have the Europeans done, commented on gerrymandering of constituencies? Can they do anything? Because declaring a constituency is a responsibility of the Electoral Commission. We have a census or by Parliament. Nankabira bitwala eri. Nankabirwa oyo kyakoze ekibiina gyakisa kimazeewo. And many things batubuzanga mu economics. Who is this woman? Who is responsible for killing companies? Is mismanagement. You look everywhere where a woman hand is involved. Bulichi kyononeka bwabuuka denu neko kataboka nga kudiba kwali the politics of the Banyambi and Abalusula.
Tamale
kati nkugamba
European delegates
the European Union teyina kyejja kukola. When your daughter is already impregnated, you cannot advise her not to move with the bad boys. The advice comes too late. The nature, how do they influence? Will they enforce the parliament to enact laws? Because Museveni does not sit in the parliament. This is where I pity people like Bobi Wine, and I console myself. They are being used. Why? Muganda will tell you, ntikono weka, tokalinda kusabana taka. If you are going to carry a baby on your back, toyinza mukiza kumala kukola ki? Bobi Wine has been sitting in the parliament. All of these parties are having MPs. Why should Bobi Wine go to court to force his way into somebody's radio station or TV? Why didn't he create his? How much money, if you know that this is scientific election, which are used in national media, how much money did they allocate to UBC? All of the money which have been allocating to UBC has been from Mutumwebas has been. If you institute a commission of inquiry on UBC and the money, where the money is and land, to move as referee to Congo. Before even the Europeans grab him as they are planning to do. He referred to Congo. But why do I have a printing press, I have a magazine, I maintain my, do you pay me? I don't think that there is a radio station that pays me money. I don't think there is a misconception that these programs, I knew the president was sustaining the program on NBS. But Kalisa didn't know that I was aware. Yalita money. Write it as once. Why didn't they give me this money? Mbabanja millions and bitano. And they think I'm going to embark on another journey before they pay this one.
Tamale sende zongozi banji zibangeri weda.
Ine petubulira abafuna. Kwa ffe batuloza we are fools. We are not fools. Tuli bagezi. Nti baloza we force him to kneel before us. I will come with the hammer.
Tamale chabulabe bana ba delegate ebibina bino
tebayina mugaso anti to gather information from them to pressure the government on what? Because Uganda election is a constitution
determining a governance of
anti bano tebakimanyi nti what will they say What do you benefit from a priest telling you are coming to console your daughter who is already pregnant? Because you cannot increase the pregnancy. That at least stop on this one. Kakati abazungu bajja wano to get views from political parties on how they can pressurize government to make it the ground level. But fortunately for Uganda, these are laws which must be amended. These are laws. Kakati, how can somebody, I said, a constitution is a paradigm. A constitution is like a closed door. Watekamu oluggi mu nnyumba yo. There are two ways. If ekitanda kinene okusinga oluggi, you disassemble it, okyassembling muki, or you remove the door, and the constitution bweri, you amend it or you abolish it. Kakati kyetubuuza. At this time, the information they are getting from this bazungu, the Electoral Commission will say my hands are tied. Why? I have this issue of COVID-19. COVID-19, this is a law. The president invoked this law. We act, which was left there by the British. The British, the act, the Health Act we are using now was enacted by the British, not Museveni. They excite you because you are not knowledgeable. You hear Ugandans. As I was talking to the American ambassador, me I don't give, even if they invite me, me I don't go to those embassies. For what? Maybe for visa. And I know how these people operate. Even if you are a great friend of the ambassador here, cannot influence the visa department. But even being invited to attend a dinner at the British High Commission, people dance here. They even they can advise. Even invited guests at the include Abamaudi and Betekam. These are primitive societies that everything is praised. Kakati is in Kuburi. It is them to market. Don't tell us that we are siding with this government. This is what I tell the COVID thieves. There is no credible financial institution that can lend a country money 6 months away from the elections. If an incoming government, if we had a serious opposition, not this one, the artificial one, that is controlled by the mafias, if a new government comes into power, you brought the money, there is no institution. Kati bana aba mafia ono musajja w'obukooti wa finance yali ayagala atwale parliament mu recess akomewo n'omutwe gwe akwate 7 trillion bwaziwe mu economy kubanga parliament mulimu abalwadde. First of all, me I'm an intelligent man. If you check me, you test me, you give me what? You are taking me and my contacts with in the isolation center where people are starving to death. I rather die in my house. I spear you. I shoot you if I have a gun. Anti how? First make to musobola kujoga abantu musobola tubatwale egende babeta kali yagindi ya Nambole. What happened to this plot? Kumwali mugendo kuzimba edwali kumukaga. And the government guaranteed we are accumulating interest. Diana, do you live in this? Do you eat the same food we eat? Do you drink the same milk from the same cows we drink? Diana, do you sleep on the same sheets we do? Diana, are you out of touch? Do you understand the local language we speak? And you know them. Katibali I change bali bamusudde. Mbu I change teyagenze na masiki. We are resorting to masks because to padding ourselves. Why? You were failed.
Tamale awe nyiri bwenjaga tudde ababaka
kati masiki masiki ze mwali reservinze for sukulu konji children kati mwazika baziri kati zabana nga baddayo ziriwa kutuba kubire ko national
Tamale awe nyini abwenjaga
nagamba mukwano wa Katongole we have been together with Katongole nemuga duka
omubaka wa parliament
duka
omubaka wa parliament Nakaseke bamukwata ngabagamba nti yali agenda okukola possession but mutali mumenyi bwa mateeka era nga violating SOPs za Minister of Health. naye tukirabe bulwatu nga ababaka ba parliament abamu ne ba minister abamu government nga bakoze procession
avulakishadiyo
nga bakumibwa police n'amajje g'eggwanga kitegeeza kitama.
I will donate a book to you about propaganda and the tools of propaganda. I've explained that the mafias are fighting Museveni using propaganda tools. One of the most attractive tools is called deception. Deception, it means that I appear to do doing something nga sikyendiko nti nwanyisa covid ngobba sente tulumiddwa abantu tuleeta amatanga n'ozibba kati tukiyita deception mu propaganda. Kati another strong tool mu propaganda yeetaagiza abagezi ennyo tukiyita reverse psychology. Nti gwolowooza ti Bobi Wine omuweekeninga nedda bamafiya bakulyako sente tebannakwata ku kinyuso kya Bobi Wine because Bobi Wine waabwe baagala kuprotectinga ki kakati reverse psychology kati reverse psychology bakuba candidate bawa Namayanja olutalo luli ku secretariat Namayanja bamukolera akabenje nga baga nti ayina 30 billion azibbye bagenda okubera nga sente temuli kati bawa Namayanja gwe bakuba they are helping Lutamaguzi. These people are helping Lutamaguzi
afuna mukwata
andi nkubuulire let me tell you gwe kwennyini okyogedde nti what makes Lutamaguzi nga balaba because who are cautioned by Tango Doi who are summoned to the police by Enanga. You cannot use caution. You can use which are disqualify you. Which yes, if I'm a member of NRM and I'm itching to become independent, Mkolaji, Tango Doi, call it disqualification. It does not matter. There is no provision in the Health Act under which we are operating about disciplining him, errant members by party organisms. It's not there. Kati Tango Doi yeyambisa reverse psychology. Yeyambisa deception. Kakati in this case kankubulire like in Lukwago's case education, Nantaba's case education. Neyate kakoza ye bamugamba talina qualifications for Kabwa minister but he is sitting MP. When the two you cannot become a minister when the same qualifications of being a minister apply to MP. Why is kakoza there? Mu parliament yakola mungi. Because kakoza would be in parliament if we had different qualifications. Kakati nkubudde ne nkugamba. Look at the history. Chief Justice Ogola retired. Ruled that Besigye could be nominated inside the in custody. Museveni realized what was the intention of Ogola. The then Attorney General Kidu Makubuya, a professor from Yale University in America, who had taught law for a long time. You might find that even Ogola would be a student of this man. Argued before court. How can this man in a cell, Nakisoma Julius Caesar, Cassius from bondage will deliver Cassius. Kakati Uno, Museveni Yashibala. Nti Ogola knows Museveni will defeat Besigye. But let us dent Museveni's victory by competing with somebody who cannot campaign. Nabaga nti Golola n'alwana n'omusajja omusibe empingu n'amukuba tteke aba yamuwangudde. Whatever percentage Besigye got if he was in prison would embarrass Museveni. Museveni did not pursue the matter. Besigye was released from bail, nominated as others, and was decisively defeated. We move to Otafire, my friend. And for me, when I say you a friend, you a friend. Otafire is my friend. Many ministers are run away from me because they are corrupt and they fear my machines. Kati Otafire, bamuzanya akazanyo kekamu. Military, the military. Bagenda ne bakwata oyo omusajja Kahonda. Ne bamuteeka mu kkomera. Nti yadduka mu magye gatalina kumuntu. It backfired on Otafire. Otafire yagwa. Why? The moment in society, if you want society to sympathize with you, be a victim, is it how you could arrest an MP of Nakaseke? 2, by now, we are going to elections where in Electoral there is one minister standing, the Minister of Education. which the Ministry of Education, I warned them, nabagamba temutwala first lady mu ministry mwonna omukono wagambye navumye nazala kakubireko mu ngalo mukojju nabagamba ababbi ba Museveni beyambisa nnyo abantu Museveni bawaana. Who can talk about this mess in education? Bomu babbira except the risk takers like me. Nti kakati kyegamba bakukubye nkugambye nti bakubye Museveni baagala kuba candidate wa Namayanja oba NRM candidate. NRM candidate is going to suffer from this backlash. Lutamaguzi is going to win. I can't predict it. Lutamaguzi is a beneficiary.
Yes. Kakati ensonga ya ambassador in Denmark ne sente saga eyetolera ku sente ezo.
Somebody
overhaul
the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Nobody in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs can point a finger. Mbakuba nimba mala wait my book. I've written a book about nina kempandise. Basooka mu monitor ne bateeka mu nti Madivani's children are quarreling over property. I know what is happening in all of these embassies. Oyo muwala alimanange kamba bulize.
Tamale mafias balumbye ambassador.
Oyo muwala Madivani omanyi. Oyo muwala wa Madivani. Omanyi nti yaleeta crisis ya 71 ogoba abayindi. I mean wanted to marry that daughter now, that girl now. Asikiha. Ye yatuvira ku obuzibu bwa against the Indians to tell you that Mirundi has research here. Era amini ennaku ekyenda bwe kyaggwako nga kibula ye wiiki emu yaleeta Madivani n'emmetta nga bali mu pajama bali ku mpingo n'abalaga nti I'm determined to chase Yahweh. Some Indians started running into Lake Victoria ne beetugiramu. There was a man called Agustino Kamia. Bano bamuwa omudaali. Agustino Kamia was a conman. Mu 60 mu myaka jana 5 yajjanga ebintu by'abayindi n'abitunda n'insight nga blacks again. Kamia bamutta kuwali ku mini price nga ali akabayindi sente mbwa amini amutumye sente amini n'amusala. Bano bamuwa omudaali. Which made of fool. Kubanga movement. You need a historian there. You need to consult us. Kakati ngamba. Do you know that there is a company that manages Uganda's foreign embassies? Do you know the circumstances under which Katende, a celebrated Gond, left Gond? Do you know what happened to Kalule, President from Mutake, Ochimanyi Gwe, Omanyi? How many ambassadors do we have? Ambassador is a title, a seniority title to Inabameka. Ambassador Senton, Ambassador Muchivi, Ambassador who? Why? Why don't we have qualified people? Where do we fare well? One, the most celebrated diplomat we have is Ayebali, a former journalist. Bumwagenda okunonya ku African Union mwejayo oli omukazi vice president era akasajja ako ne kamuwandiikako ne bamubiramu miliyoni ya dola emu. Do you know that former vice president Kazibwe and Cecily Ogwal were detained in a Kigali hotel for non-payment? Nga sente bazibbi aba foreign affairs na kana kasajja akawandika amawulire ako. I know much, I know more, I know everything in foreign affairs. You wait my book.
Wewa tamalenga tugenda okumaliriza wiki wedde kulokubira wiki wedde waliwo ne kazi haji Kazibwe Bashir
mugende mugule panado
wiki wedde waliwo
ne Kazibwe Bashir no tangaza mubere tempted mutayo omuntu ogo
watangaza ku
mulabe mudduka
abesije watangaza ku plan B ku analysis je wakola wagamba nti ejja kubeera based on region or empowering regions wagamba singa mu Eastern singa poa Patrick Amina Toboy afuka president yaina y'amaanyi n'ogamba nti akundi ku his plan B mu Eastern region ekasese Wichiza ne Mugisha muntu balina y'amaanyi n'ogamba nti mu Northern region so kati best ya promokaga yaina press conference n'atangaza ku plan B ngeri totally different kwa analysis yo n'agamba nti ye plan B jaina agenda ku mobilizinga abo bonna abawuliranga bakoye abo bonna abawuliranga eddembe lyabwe lyabajjibwako omuli abataxi ababoda n'abalala abakunganye babeere eddobozi.
Let me tell you, basically is talking about taxi drivers Where was Besigye when the pioneer buses came, when our money was taken away? Besigye was working with the bus owners, pioneer. I said at that time, it's written in my book, that before the pioneer buses hit the city, Aga Khan changed his building, APS building, from a glass building into a concrete one. Why? He knew that Kampala was going to be rocked by riots. The Americans moved from near Parliament, near that building, to Zambia. I knew this development. How could a serious businessman bring a fleet of buses in a city, Eritrea city, and none of his buses was banned? How many times has Besigye come up? Besigye, ukimenya gwentikita taino Uganda ku Besigye. Baina. Did Besigye come up to talk about the plight of borders? When do you come? That's the mentality. I don't know why people think that we are Barusula and Abanyampi. Taina. Basically, let me tell you, conclude as a mass communicator. A person, a serving person, cannot vomit because there is nothing to vomit. Somebody to vomit, there must be a battle inside his belly over what he has eaten. That's vomiting. Besigye has no ideas left and cannot vomit any idea.
Wow. Yes, from